What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rock and Road Show. It's Alvie.
1-3, baby.
Joined by members of the Tommy Roxx Band. Introduce yourselves so everybody knows who we're talking to.
I'm Tommy. They call me Tommy Roxx, and I'm the singer. And here,
my name is Bill, and they call me the Senator. That's because after 8 or 9 shots of Jack Daniels, I start speaking from the floor.
what do you play?
I'm Pete,
I'm the
the keyboard
guitarist.
player, and I repeat my parts every single night.
I love it. Like I told you when we first met this morning, tell us a little bit about, like, everybody here, tell them where you guys are from, how you guys kind of got started together, the long or short version, however you guys want to go about it. Just let us know and let everybody else know.
Well, the long version goes back to the 70s.
Okay.
And this man here was in a band called the Road Ducks, based out of the Northern Virginia area, West Springfield, Virginia.
Okay.
And they traveled up and down the Atlantic coast from Maine to Key West. And they were the local band where I was. So as I was growing up, I used to go see them play all the time and used to daydream about being up on stage and being in a band. And then ended up becoming a father. Had my first of 7 children, Matthew.
Wow.
So I had a son, Matthew, a daughter, Jamie, a son, Thomas, a daughter, Hope, a daughter, Rachel, a daughter, Betsy, and then a daughter, Allie.
Wow.
So basically, I went from being a teenager, wanting to be in a rock band, to just being a dad and installing carpet to pay for the bills.
Reality sets in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and he was still traveling the country playing guitar for the next 30 years. For 25 years, I didn't do anything in music. I just raised kids and worked. And then got back into music when I moved down here in 2003. And then a few years later, Bill moved down from Virginia to Florida.
Right.
And I talked him in right away into joining the band. And so that's for the first time we ever played together was down here in Florida.
Wow.
Right, but you knew each other before that, right? I mean, were you friends or?
Yeah, I'd known him from Virginia, where we were from. You know, we were all from up that way. And the thing about the Road Ducks that most people don't understand or realize that Phil McCormick from Molly Hatchet,
Yes.
the singer for Molly Hatchet, was in that band with me. We were best friends for like 8-10 years,
right?
you know, before he was in Molly Hatchet. And I think we groomed him to take that spot because we had opened for Molly Hatchet so many times over the years that we became friends. And when Danny Joe started, you know, he couldn't do it anymore because he was so sick that he requested that they pick Phil to be the singer that took his place.
Wow.
And so when he couldn't do it anymore, Phil went ahead and, you know, filled his spot. And I'm sure that was a hell of a thing to try to do for so many years.
Yeah. That's cool.
awesome.
So I grew up in Virginia Beach. I'm a Newport News kid. So
Okay.
So that's
Well, you
cool.
had to see the Road Ducks come through
I'm sure
all
we
the time.
did at some point in time. There, baby. I love it.
Well, see, you said going to Key West. I joined the Navy in 18 in early 80s. I went to Key West. That's where I was stationed and stayed there for 25 years. Love Key West.
Yeah, we would play at Sloppy Joe's for, you know, 2 weeks at a time
Is that
for
right?
3 times a year.
Yeah.
And man, you know, even at Christmas and New Year's, when I was afraid I wasn't going to make it back after 2 weeks down there.
Oh yeah, it's crazy down there, right?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Living there for 25 years was just freaking phenomenal. I mean, I was out of the military, married, kids. Still, I lived on Duval Street, literally. No, my wife's house was 1212 Duval. We lived there.
Cool, man.
So we were just down the road, man. We'd go down and party.
That's the thing I liked about Sloppy Joe's. They have the big bay doors to get in.
Yep.
And the reason they did that is because when it floods there, you can still row your boat through the damn doors.
You can
up
get
to the
right-
bar.
Get a drink.
It just takes a hard rain to do that. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
So tell us how you got with them, since they, you know.
Okay, well, my story is kind of interesting. I'm actually from New Jersey. I started playing clubs back in 1974.
Right?
Toured with the John Eddy Band and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And I was in a band called The Deal, and it was a blues rock band.
Right?
And when we decided to do our second album, we actually rented a house in Tarpon. We did a second album. Well, the next thing I know, they decided, hey, Pete, you're a builder and a studio engineer. Let's build a studio. So next thing I know, I'm in Tarpon Springs, building a recording studio in a 1905 Victorian house. Well, we had that studio for 18 years.
Wow.
Well, the short of it is Tommy's his album was recorded at Studio 420. It's 420 Tarpon Avenue. It's
Right.
It's not about cannabis, okay?
We all believe
So
it.
anyway, yeah. Well, hey, don't admit anything.
Double meaning.
Well, anyway,
Double entendre.
that's how we met, and I've been basically playing in the band for 12 years.
He plays all the piano parts, all the organ parts, and he plays banjo, horns, all kinds of background stuff you hear on the album, and you hear it live.
No shit.
All
Yeah, it's kind of hard on the arm, though, you know?
I've always
Got a bad shoulder.
I've heard them, and I love the pipes. I've always wanted to learn how to play them, and then every time I look at them, I'm just like, I don't know, man. No, well, I mean, even keyboards. I look at a piano, and it's white and black to me. I can pick up a guitar and play a little bit of guitar, a little bit of bass.
Yeah, but the piano is repeat.
Right.
Every octave.
Right.
It's just each octave, right.
I still just look at it; it just blows my mind. I don't understand it.
I've been trying to talk him into bringing in his accordion and playing that on one song, but what do you guys think?
Go.
Would that be cool?
Why not?
Yeah, man.
Would people like
Who
that?
the hell does? Nobody brings an accordion. Nobody brings a squeeze box on the band.
Well, the funny thing about the accordion is, I didn't play it for many years. Like after college, I really didn't play accordion. And I did a few sessions and things up in New Jersey. But when I came to Florida, all of a sudden I wound up doing a lot of sessions on accordion. Celtic album,
Of course, yeah.
Cajun stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, wow, break out the accordion.
Let's do some polka, baby.
It's a quick funny story about that. So my old man, he was a Civil War reenactor for a lot of years, and he picked up the concertina, which is kind of the predecessor to the accordion, and he started to try and learn it. I've got a cousin who is like a music guru, the guy, music theory, the whole. It's amazing to watch this guy sit down. You can literally hand him anything, and I guarantee in 20 minutes he'll play a song for you. So my dad sat there for 6 months trying to learn how to play the concertina. We were at a family gathering. The cousin was there, and he's like, let me see that real quick. Picks it up, plays with it for about 10 minutes, and starts just jamming out. And my dad looks at him, he's like, you son of a bitch. Like, I've been trying to do this for a whole year, and you did it in 20 minutes. That's pretty funny. So, who is, and it could go around the room here, who is your guys' musical influences? Who do you guys look for to draw inspiration from songs that you guys write and things like that?
Who's our what?
Musical inspirations and influences and stuff like that.
Okay, definitely I would say Ronnie Van Zant is probably at the very top. Bob Seger.
Dig Bob Seger, man.
Paul Simon from Bad Company for me as a singer.
Yeah.
But musically, we're influenced by 70s classic rock. Not just Southern rock. I mean, Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, Allman Brothers, that's all in there.
Right.
But it's ZZ Top, Aerosmith,
Right.
Bob Seger. There's a little bit more rock and roll in it than just the plain of Southern rock.
You all do a local band, Outlaws. Have you done any of that? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we played one today. We played Greengrass and High Tides.
Okay.
I did hear that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yep.
I didn't. I must have missed it.
Yeah, you missed the show because
Couldn't have
it
been.
sounded like you're listening to the record. These guys are so good.
How about yourself? Same. Are you guys kind of in the same boat there? Then?
Not really. Well, I'm a lot older than the rest of these guys, so I am really into the Southern rock thing because that's what I did. I've done all my career,
Right.
playing in Southern rock band, and so pretty much that's what it is. But I like all types of guitar players. Stevie Ray Vaughan. For a while, I was doing a Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute.
Love it.
Nice.
And that was pretty cool. But
What's the name of that, Cold Shot?
yeah, Cold Shot. It was the name of it. I don't do it right now because I'm really involved with this.
Right, sure.
And the Southern rock thing is really what I'm into.
Cool.
Right.
It's like it gets in your blood.
I kind of done everything in my life. When I was young, I started playing like at 11 years old professionally in a polka band. But then after that, I wound up in rock and roll bands. And my first band traveled all over the Northeast. And we did everything. We were one of the first bands that actually did stuff like every set we did like another artist. So one set we'd come out dressed in like blue jeans and plaid shirts and do a Doobie Brothers set. Then the next set we'd come out in glitter, with makeup on, and do a Bowie set. So I mean, it was a really weird band. And on top of it, it was a horn band. So we did a lot of, at the time, Average White Band.
Right.
Stuff, Tower of Power.
Right.
Well, anyway, let's shoot forward into the 80s. Into the 80s, I was in a club band that covered everything. I was in that band for over 10 years. So I basically covered every single aspect. Who I actually enjoyed, I got very little time to actually play, but I was in a Deep Purple tribute band for a while.
Loved it.
Because I really loved John Lord. I love Rick Wakeman. I love Genesis. Genesis was... I sort of been told... I'm sort of like a Tony Banks type of player because I'm not always really playing flashy.
Right.
I like playing things that really, fit in with the music, and which is why I did a lot of session work, because I can listen to something and I'll put these keys in.
Right.
Although I can go crazy and do really weird riffs and solos, but I generally don't do that.
Right.
I'm basically a rock and roll keyboard player.
That's awesome.
So that's my deal. Okay.
Absolutely. Awesome.
You can go in and sit in any band and play whatever the hell they want to play.
Yeah, I've done tributes
Yeah.
not tributes, benefits up in Philadelphia, where we do a benefit for somebody, and I would wind up playing with 5 to 7 bands because I'd have my rig set up and they'll, hey, Pete, come on, play.
Come play with us, man.
Next thing I know, I'm playing with all kinds of people. And
I can only play for an hour. 6 hours later, you're like...
Yeah,
it's happened here to him.
As it really
I
There'd be
played
5
here with
bands here, and he
2 or
said some
3
was-
bands.
Go ahead.
So I was going to say, are you going to do another album besides the one you just had, or...
We actually have just started writing again, and we've probably got about 5 or 6 songs half written.
Right.
So when we get them kind of polished off, that and a couple other ideas we have, we'd probably be ready to do another one.
Cool.
Are you guys self-producing that? Are you guys with a label or anything like that?
Right now we're self-producing, but if somebody hears this or sees this and is really interested in backing us, we'd make it worth your while, and you'd be happy you did.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So what is next for you guys? Where do you guys
Okay,
see yourself going forward?
we got a couple shows coming up. The first Saturday in March, we're headlining at the Hard Rock Cafe at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in
Here in
Tampa.
Tampa? Okay.
Yeah, on a Saturday night. So, and that's the Leonard Skinner tribute band that night called Nothing Fancy.
Yeah, and you guys are all part of that as well,
Yeah.
correct?
Nothing Fancy is all 6 people from Tommy Roxx plus 4 more people, a third guitar player. So there's 3 lead guitar players
guitars.
and 3 girls doing backup vocals.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like the original Skinner lineup.
And how did that come to be? Was that prior to you, to Tommy Roxx, or
They
was that
kind
just grow
of both came about about the same time. It was when I was finally at a stage in life where I could try getting back into
Doing
music,
stuff.
since I never got to.
Right.
I had 2 ideas. One was a Leonard Skinner tribute band, and then one was just to play lots of songs, because it would get boring maybe just playing only Leonard Skinner ever. So instead of deciding between them, I just kind of formed both bands by doing it so that everybody in Tommy Roxx is also in Nothing Fancy.
That's cool.
So it's never a conflict of, the bands playing at the same
Right,
time or
right,
something.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool.
Right.
Does Nothing Fancy have an album as well, or...
No, because Nothing Fancy plays only Leonard Skinner
Only
music.
Leonard Skinner.
So why would we record something
Their
they already
stuff.
recorded perfectly?
Right.
We just play it live to pay tribute to them.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
You said perfectly.
Right.
That's
Thank
what they
you.
did. They absolutely did. And you were playing earlier, The Breeze. It's one of my favorite songs.
Is it?
It really is. I love the bass run on that. That is just, it's phenomenal. I tried playing the bass 10, 15 years ago. I can play Stand By Me, but that's about it. And not even perfectly.
Can you sing it?
No. No, that's where.
You don't want either of
No.
us singing anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's boom, boom, boom.
Well, if you listen to the live album, One More for the Road, that's basically the show, minus one song.
Okay.
We tell everybody in every musical position, whether it's bass, drums, keyboards, piano, guitar, play it exactly like the live album.
Right.
And then we're all playing it the same way.
Everything's playing the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically like seeing that live show.
Right.
Awesome.
We do about an hour and a half,
Speaking of round thing.
hour and 45-minute show, and it's like a performance
Sure.
where everybody does their part of Leonard Skinner before 1977. We don't play any songs after 1977, and the plane crash.
Right.
Right.
So, we try to make it as like one of their. If you're coming to see Leonard Skinner, when you come to see us.
Yeah.
That's
It's not
cool.
like a bunch of guys getting up there
Just
three
jamming
guitar
out,
players.
right?
We know it's a pretty excellent show. You should come see it.
I will definitely.
Yeah, we will.
check that
We
out.
definitely will.
Absolutely. I did a little bit of research before we started this. Found out that you are a ordained minister.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Kind of-
As an evangelist.
Kind of walk us through how that becomes part of your life.
Okay. I was raised going to a Methodist church, so I already had a Christian foundation of faith. And then after I started having kids, I got out of being in rock and roll, which was my dream at the time, and got a haircut and got a real job. And so at that time, I was kind of searching in life. I got out of doing drugs and all that stuff, and hanging out in rock and roll. And all I was doing was raising kids and working. So
Right.
going to church, being a family, just kind of became part of the normal thing.
Right.
And so, and then down the road a few years, I started teaching at the Bible study, and just kind of started coming out of me that I had this charisma, or this, maybe it was what would have been a singer in me, was just a way of coming out.
Right.
And so I began preaching sermons back in 1992. First time I ever preached in front of people was at the Central Union Mission in Washington, D.C., downtown homeless center.
Wow.
And they have this big service, and so I went down there and preached. And so from there, it kind of grew. I started getting into motorcycles more and more at the time, and I got into a motorcycle club called the Sons of God, and then later the Prodigal Sons of God. And so the Christianity was part of it. It was a Christian biker club, so that just kept with me. So I basically taught that Bible study for 25 years.
Wow.
And I was in the motorcycle ministry for 30 years. And then lately, the band has become more of the focus because it's just done so well.
Right.
I just can't be everywhere at once. So paying a lot more attention to the band. But that's one of the reasons we do Spirit of the Sky the way we do. I always dedicate it to my best friend, Jesus. And it's just our way of keeping the faith as part of what we do.
Right on.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man.
I gotta thank you guys all for hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do me a favor. Look right there to that camera. Let everybody know where they can find you, social media,
Ah.
all that stuff. What you guys have that you want to promote coming up.
Got anything
and,
to-
Yep.
and we'll kind of go from there.
You can buy our CDs online on our website or through any of the normal places like Kmart, Walmart, iTunes, Amazon, whatever that's out there. Our website is TommyRoxx.com, www.tommyroxx.com, TommyRoxx.com. We're on Facebook as Tommy Roxx, and we're on Reverb Nation as Tommy Roxx. So you can get a hold of us. We have T-shirts, CDs, original music. So support original music.
Absolutely.
We like that.
Awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight.
Appreciate it.
Really
Thanks a lot.
appreciate it.
What he said.
What he said.
Thank you. Good night.
Great set on there today. I really appreciate you guys hanging out.
outstanding.
Thanks for hanging out with the Rock and Roll Show, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.